Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and welcome to the Wacky World Lounge. And tonight we'll be taking a brief look at Exotica, or what some people think of as lounge music. As to why I'm covering this important topic, knowing I'm a fan of such things, people have often come to me saying that they wanted to get into lounge music and asking me where to start. The first thing I always ask is, by lounge music, do you mean smoking jacket clad crooners performing in smoke-filled lounges and singing catchy little ditties? Or do you mean the exotic sounding instrumental music one would hear at a tiki bar? In every case, they have responded with tiki bar music, and that, patrons of the lounge, is Exotica. The genre really came into being in the early 1950s and saw popularity through the mid-60s. To quote Denny, one of the greats of the genre, Exotica is a combination of the South Pacific and the Orient. What a lot of people imagine the islands to be like, it's pure fantasy though. And that sums it up perfectly. It's music you want to kick back by a pool or at the ocean or at a tiki bar and have a drink with an umbrella. And we really must begin with Les Baxter's Ritual of the Savage, released in 1952. It's not only considered one of the most important Exotica albums of all time, but it features Quiet Village, one of the best known Exotica songs of all time. Baxter described the album as a tone poem of the sound and the struggle of the jungle. Many would tell you that this is a place to begin on the road to Exotica, and I would be hard-pressed to argue the fact, but as great as Les was, and he had some killer album covers, he's not my immediate go-to for the genre. That distinction goes to Mr. Denny and his 1957 album Exotica, from which the term originated. This album, along with Exotica Volume 2, are among my top recommendations. And interestingly, taking it back to Les Baxter, Exotica Volume 1 contained a cover of Quiet Village. Only with a Denny kind of spin. The song reached number 2 on the Billboard charts in 1959, with the album itself reaching number 1. It was Denny who would really make Exotica what it was and cement that connection to tiki culture. Now, Denny was a classical pianist and toured South America for 4.5 years in the 1930s with the Don Dean Orchestra. It was during this time that he started to collect exotic musical instruments, and after being brought to Hawaii by Don the Beachcomber, the founding father of the tiki bar, Denny put together a group which just happened to include my next go-to, and that's Arthur Lyman. Hawaiian-born Lyman was a jazz, vibraphone, and marimba player who really helped shape the Exotica sound. He would leave the Denny group soon after the Exotica albums and start his own group, which would release the phenomenal Taboo in 1958. This is easily my second highest recommendation in the genre, and sometimes even the highest. It just depends which I've heard more recently. Both Exotica volumes and Taboo have been released on CD and vinyl. Lyman's Taboo even saw a nice remastered CD version, and both volumes of Denny's Exotica have been released together on a single disc. Highly recommend picking up any of these releases. And as far as Les Baxter goes, of course the aforementioned Ritual of the Savage would be a good place to start. But I would personally go with Taboo from 1955. And that was just a brief look, a starter's guide, so to speak, to Exotica. There's of course more to dig into. Robert Drasnin's Voodoo immediately comes to mind. But it's last call for now. Please like, comment, and subscribe.